There we go, fish on. Hey, welcome back to this week's report. You know, here we are towards the end of July and surface temps are still in the lower 70s, you know, even though we've had some warm-ups here. One of my favorite techniques is pitch and jigging wraps. You know, I've got a walleye here, I need the net. Oh, not a giant, but I tell you what, extremely effective tool for catching fish. You know, like I said, not a big walleye, small one, but pitching jigging wraps is one of my favorite tools for catching midsummer walleyes, and really all year long. But midsummer, when you get a lot of those fish that just won't quite hit the alive bait, boom, they'll smack that jigging wrap. Let me show you how I do it. And you can run these baits a lot of different ways, you know, whether you're running your bow mount trolling motor or rear mount trolling motor or back trolling, you can vertical jig these things. You can also pitch them and work them blindly along reefs or flats, even on the edges of weed lines. So either casting or jigging these things, very versatile bait and a very reactionary strike, much like you'd get on a crankbait. There's a fish. It's always important to pitch it out there and then work it all the way back to the boat. You know, those fish follow it and follow it and follow it. You know, not a giant, but another decent one. Like I said, you know, they follow it all the way back to the boat. You know, it's important not to give up on them and let them chase it, you know. A lot of times when I'm pitching on fish or if I'm vertical jigging, I might mark the fish. I love seeing fish before I'm dropping on fish. I mean, obviously, when I'm live bait rigging, I'm looking for fish before I'm fishing. Same thing with this technique. I'm looking for fish as soon as I see them, whether I'm vertical jigging or pitching back to them. Make sure you work it all the way back to the boat, or once you've gone through those fish, that you give it a little bit of time after you've seen them, because they follow it a long ways, just like a crankbait. Well, another mid-teens fish, not a giant, but nonetheless, a lot of fun. You know, it's fun when you actually can go out, target fish, pitch back to them, or vertical jig through them in a technique that's a reactionary strike like that, where you're really ripping and jigging. A lot of fun. You know, with jigging wraps, it's really important that you get the proper motion. You know, you want it to hit the bottom momentarily, but keep the bait moving. You know, rip it, let it fall, rip it, let it fall. Keep the bait moving, but momentarily touching the bottom. That's a really important part to this technique. There he is. Nice fish. Oh, that one hit it and missed it, man. You got to keep up with them. You know, it's just like pulling crankbaits. A lot of times when they come up and they slash at it and miss it, not a bad fish. Oh, a lot of fun, man, I tell you that. That is exciting. Oh yeah, nice looking fish. Oh, look at that hog. Wow, that is a pig. Let's see if I can get a net under this girl. Oh, right there, that's a legitimate 30+ inch fish right there. Look at that hog. That is a beauty. Wow. Unbelievable. Look at that. That is a 30-inch walleye right there on the jigging wrap. One of my favorite techniques for all kinds of fish. You know, today we've caught small fish, we caught medium fish, and now just a hog like this. Look at that beauty. We gotta get this girl back in the water. I'm gonna get a quick measurement. Look at that. Just shy of 30. That is a beautiful fish. Let's get this girl back in the water. It's coming up. Get into my fluorocarbon leader. Oh yeah, nice looking fish, man. Wow, look at how fat that one is. This one looks like it ate a football. You got to be really careful when you get them in the net like this. There's a lot of hooks on these get very dangerous quickly if those fish spin. Beauty, look at that. That's where you want them, either right by that bottom treble hook or when they inhale it. A lot of hooks for him to get caught on, but look at this guy. Look at that big bulge right there. He ate something big perch or something. Nice walleye. You know, if you're heading up to Mille Lacs this weekend, you know, we're in those midsummer patterns, even though the live bait bite is still going on, you can still catch them rigging with leeches. If you get into those big pods of fish where some of these fish just won't strike, try pitching that jigging Rap. It's one of my favorite baits for all season long, but especially in these midsummer times where they're not quite feeding, especially some of these schools, they're not quite feeding, but they're gonna strike a jigging Rap. Hey, until next week, I'm Tony Roach, and we'll see you on the water.